you know. So what is that tip that you would like to give to those youngsters, for starting any kind of a business?
I think when I talk about today's generation, they are genuinely very, very enthusiastic first. They
Right,
are much
right,
enthusiastic than maybe my generation or even my parents' or grandparents'. They know what they want to do.
right, right,
Just need to get directed well. So I'd rather say them that you know what you want to do and they're
right.
clear of what they want to do. Just go into the right direction. Follow that
Mm.
one path and don't get into too many things at one point of time. Because when
Mm.
you follow one, that one will become million. That's that's the art that today's Gen Zs have. They just need to follow one single path and
Mm.
they're there. Otherwise, I trust them and they're कहीं आगे हमसे.
Mm. Hello, viewers. Welcome yet once again to another episode from SoilCup platform. And today we are going to interview a very young, dynamic, talented woman entrepreneur, Premangi from Ahmedabad. And she's doing a wonderful business in terms of all of us. What we like is food. So we are going to talk a lot about food, and that's her niche, that's her specialization, and her export business. So I would like Premangi to introduce herself to all of us viewers. So welcome on this platform, Premangi.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the introduction. And to say what I exactly do is I own a business which is called Oceanus Exports Pvt Ltd. Well, it
Right.
comes from the base of my grandfather's business of garlic farming. I want to carry the legacy of what he has done. And yeah, I look forward to doing more.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, a little bit more about your education and what were you doing? Was it from the beginning that you were, into this business, or did you transition, कि कभी हमने 4-5 साल corporate में काम किया या कुछ और business किया? So, what was your background like, before you started Oceanus?
Good question. That brings me to all the memories that I've had before starting Oceanus. Uh, Let me tell the viewers that I'm not from the base city where I'm right now based, that is Ahmedabad.
Right.
Just been a decade here and that I'm here. Before it, I have an experience of being out of my house, that is out of my comfort zone for like almost 18 years. After my 10th standard, I was out, and that brought me a lot of courage to work on my own skills, develop my own self, and right from the schooling, I was a good student. That was the only thing that I had, and I was also good in curriculum. That
That is
made
not the only thing, that is a very big thing.
that made my parents think that I can be, kept in the outer world just after my SSC, that is 10th. So
Right.
I didn't want it to go, but they let me go to a nearer place, which is 4 hours away from my hometown. That is, my hometown is Jam Khambaliya. Ever if anyone has seen the Ambani weddings, the pre-weddings, that was Jamnagar. Now it's become easy to say where I belong because it's very much nearer to where they had the pre.
Jump.
Yeah. So I studied in Rajkot for almost 11th, 12th, and then my graduation, and then my
Right.
post graduation. So it
Right.
was a handsome amount of 8 years of studies that I've had there. And
Right.
then I moved to Ahmedabad. So uh, while I moved to Ahmedabad, that was completely out of my comfort zone. I didn't knew anyone. I genuinely didn't knew anyone, and I
Right.
kept there because I was done with Rajkot and I thought that I should, explore myself better. I came here. I did some jobs into event company. I also did an internship into a PR company, and I could understand my skill set. I could feel what was it that I wanted or liked to do, and that was purely communications. That was purely sales in today's world to say, and that's where I think it was purely COVID, and I was in my COVID, and my grandfather inspired me to
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
something. And he said that, you know, uh, I'll narrate the exact incident because it
Right, right.
still is in my memory. I was in quarantine in a hotel, and that point of time, I'd gone back to Kambalia because Ahmedabad was rushed up with a lot of COVID, and
Right.
Kambalia was less affected. Um, because I got COVID from Ahmedabad, I was directly switched during my quarantine to a hotel and not to my house because others were to be kept safe. Uh, because they felt that I would be tensed of COVID, they used to keep talking to me, video calls, parents,
Hmm.
parents, cousins,
Right,
everybody.
right, right, right,
And to bring me out of worries, I would keep asking them certain questions, that
right, right.
I'm into events. I think it's gonna take time to come
Hmm.
out, all of that.
Hmm.
Very early of whatever I used to do, I was into it. Like I would think about it. And
Right,
probably
right.
out of that, taking me out of that worry, my grandfather coined that why don't you see the dried versions of garlic and onions that we do?
Hmm.
That statement stuck me. I said, okay, I was having COVID, but I was asymptomatic. I didn't have anything. And I got time. I got 14 days to work and check and know. And by the time my COVID was done, I was clear. I'm gonna work on something like this.
Wow. So it was COVID for you was a blessing in disguise.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How wonderful. Now, you would be one of those people who would be thanking COVID.
Indeed, in some ways, yes.
Some, most of them, yes, for most of them, it was not a good thing to have happened. But to a lot of people, they made something good out of this. Life definitely gave them, an opportunity. And so some of them are okay. In COVID, I lost this. I lost these people. I lost my business. But then at the same time, there are so many other people, because of COVID, they flourished.
Actually,
So
there was
you,
small ray of light that was given to
yes,
people.
wonderful.
Believe in those, like it was a 14-day period, and I think this
Right.
was third or fourth day that this statement was coined. And I think उसी ड्यूरेशन में मैंने इंपोर्ट एक्सपोर्ट के सेशन ले लिए, मतलब मैंने ऑनलाइन एक क्लास अटेंड कर लिया।
Right, right, right.
तो मैंने जितना मुझे समझ आ रहा था वो मैंने सब चीजें देखना स्टार्ट कर दिया बिकॉज मेरे पास एम्पल अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम था मेरे साथ। सो
Right.
all the good things and of course the bad because you were seeing situations, you were seeing that.
Yes.
And I was in COVID during the second phase, the peak of the second phase. So
Right, right, right.
quite closed. But if I tell this, I'll put it this way that Oceanus kept me moving because
Hmm.
process, and that was a child in making that kept my, sanity on. And yeah, I think I came out of it.
Right. Excellent. And so what was the support? Of course, your grandfather, mooted you for this entire idea and business. So
Yeah,
what about your parents?
for
So
sure.
were they supportive?
100%. What happened was it was not an idea absolutely in making, even if I came out of COVID. It needed structure, right? So,
Right, right.
when I came out of COVID, I was still there. I figured out few things, and there was still no discussion because it was not a company in making.
Hmm.
It needed a solid commercial feasibility. We got those checks done. Is it a viable business or not? And all those.
Hmm.
So I think it got into shape after 6, 7 months of what the day was. And yeah, post it when
Perfect.
it came into the picture, I of course discussed with them and I said them that I'm going to work on something around this. And I think as parents, and probably parents to a girl child like me, I was out to them since decade.
Right.
Whenever today itself, or even in our new house that we have built today, the room that is mine is guest room. It They know that I'm not going to stay there. Like they have a clear feeling that Premangi is not going to be here. So
Hmm.
they any which ways knew that she's any which ways out and she's doing something own. So they
Yeah.
supported and they still support and they
Like
still
kind of, their actions, tend to point that you are a free bird and you will fly one day and for a meaningful, for a purpose.
I'm
And,
thankful
you know,
to them because if
yeah.
had it been that if that 10th standard and my outing that point of time had not happened, I didn't want it to come out. I cried
Hmm.
because I said that why do you don't want me to, be kept at home? But I think had it not been that, I would have never been able to, become a person because you don't become someone one day. You become someone after a decade. And that's a person in process. And I think that happened at a very early age. Matlab,
Right.
10वीं Kaksha was a very tender age to come out, have
Hmm.
your own salt and pepper life and pretty much.
Right.
So it's because of
Right.
I still say that the wings that they gave, that I'm able to, make it bigger. And that's because of the gift and the gift of time that they give. Because
Right.
do see there are a lot of, women around do not have time. Today,
Yes.
entrepreneurs should, must, and need to have time to build something. And that's their gift of time to me and that freedom that they give me. Because
Right.
I'm able to do all of this with
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so tell us something about, for our viewers, for our audience, something about Oceanus. What exactly does Oceanus do? I have gone through your, website and I
them.
did come across some interesting things. And food is also very interesting. I think most of the women do like it, I mean,
Yeah.
so, but, and you getting into that food industry, especially something to do with all the ingredients and the herbs and the spices.
Yeah.
These are the basic things needed for cooking,
Yeah.
so it's an amazing idea that you came up with, Oceanus. So tell us more about this so that many people will get inspired. This podcast is all about inspiring young entrepreneurs, inspiring, women especially. So here you are, on a platform where you have this wonderful opportunity, along with growing yourself, you can also help so many other people. We don't know which one line of yours, touches some human being.
Yeah.
So I want to know something more about Oceanus.
Okay. So, Oceanus Exports Pvt Ltd is into dehydrated vegetables,
Right,
herbs, onion, garlic, and fried onions. So, what does dehydrated mean? I'll
right,
spell it in Hindi and explain it also in Hindi to make it easier.
right, right,
डिहाइड्रेटेड का मतलब होता है सूखा हुआ चीज. अब
right.
सूखा हुआ मतलब एनीथिंग विच इज ड्राई, राइट? ड्राई
Hmm,
लीफ. Why
correct.
dry? Because everything that we are right now in the world of asks for shelf life and convenience.
Right,
It's the product of future and which is already being consumed by the developed nations in a very well quantums. So this particular company works largely on serving convenience to the food world. अब हम जितनी भी चीजें हैं, let us say ketchup, sauces, pickles, chutneys, ready to eat, ready to cook, instant mixes, anything that we're eating, all of these products have our ingredients. Ours is actually an ingredient. अंदर अंदर डलता है इसलिए पता नहीं चलता है. पर अगर
correct.
आपको बहुत इजीली समझाना चाहूँ तो आप जब वेफर्स खाते हैं उसके पैकेट्स में अगर आप चेक करेंगे तो लिखा होता है अनियन गार्लिक पाउडर. कहीं
Yes,
लिखा होता है डिहाइड्रेटेड वेजिटेबल्स, डिहाइड्रेटेड कैरेट्स. अब मैगी
yes,
मैगी का जो वेजिटेबल वाला वर्जन आता है उसमें जो उसका सैचेट है उसमें छोटे छोटे क्यूब्स आते हैं. दैट इज आवर प्रोडक्ट.
yes,
देन इफ यू आर ईटिंग उपमा, if you're
yeah,
eating dry poha, if you're eating soups, it has all got bits and pieces of dried vegetables.
yes, yes,
um, Manually. They are dried by machine, and that's a process called hot air dehydration.
right,
गरम हवा डाल के पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट को मशीन्स पे ड्राई किया जाता है, which is why they become easy to use as ingredients. So
right.
we operate in multiple areas domestically and also internationally. And yeah, I'm the sales supremo and also a director in the company. I take care
Yeah,
of the ends together. So that's
Awesome.
together. And if to say about audience about where they can find us, www.oceanusexports.com. You may look into us. You may see a varied varieties of dehydrated vegetables because it has a huge list of it. Like you talk about mince, a mint, parsley, a spinach, anything, carrots,
Mm.
potatoes, all the vegetables that you eat can be dried or are getting dried by us in different forms. So flakes hai, mince, chota uska chota, it's a small sister that is mince, usse chota sister hai, which is granules, and there is powder. It's a whole family of different sizes, and all of them have a different application into uh, factories or, as I mentioned, different markets. So that's where Oceanus is focused on, and we say we are ingredient company. We
Mm.
are, and we want to serve convenience to the food world domestically and
Amazing. Amazing. So, in fact, I was wondering whenever we are opening a packet, and then whether it's a soup packet or whether it is, poha. When recently I was in, in a flight, and so we got, that a packet of, noodles,
yeah.
vegetable noodles, and then all those things coming. Even in fact, I was just wondering,
Ji,
how do they drive this?
ji.
How is it, finding its way to this Maggie box of noodles? And today I'm getting the answer. It was very recent that I was questioning, very late, I would say. Very late I'm questioning, but still, I still was questioning. And any idea which comes to my mind, I'm getting any question which comes to my mind, I'm getting an answer so soon. So I'm meeting, the sales supremo in person here, that, virtually getting to know all about this dried version of, herbs and spices and ingredients. Wonderful. Awesome. So was it very difficult, for you to manage the finance? And are you already, do you have a team? How do you go about it? Who's the finance brain behind all this?
Well, every story comes with a backstory. Nothing is easy, genuinely. Uh,
Yes,
there are all the days I genuinely say. And then when you get into business, there are hard days first. And I think I pray for hard days early so that you understand the processes. Of
right,
course, I have a team of people. We are right now segmented into multiple states. So we have sales people into different markets. We are
right.
right now operational in almost 4 states and also internationally. So we have sales people in all the respective states, and we are based out here in Ahmedabad. So our
Hmm.
corporate office is here in Ahmedabad, and here is our central team who sits and operates the other channels together. So
Right.
I have a back of a lot of people, and I cannot stand without the support. I indeed am the last person to be, clapped because it's because of them that, we are able to work. I think it's always a juggling time if you do not have a right team. And I'm blessed, honestly, that there is no role compartmentalization, if I say so. Because startups don't work by rules. They work by deeds. They work by wanting to
I think
work.
it's all like together, inclusive.
Work by
Everybody has to
team,
be
work
chipping
by
in here.
connection. And I'm genuinely blessed that I have a team who works on the back. Because if I'm speaking, is because that they are managing other things on the other ends. And
Right, right, right.
already missed 2 calls from 2 of the team members. But yeah, it's always like this. I'm just the face. They are my backbone, and they do not show, but they are equally supportive to the company. Yeah.
Great, great. Awesome. It's very nice that you are speaking so well about your, team members. Is there any incident, when you were starting Oceanus, or like, how many years is it now? Is it about 4 to 5 years, I guess?
It's been 4 years.
About 5 years. So during these 5 years, is there anything, which you really remember, which you cherish? Maybe it's an achievement or something really, and it touched you, something like that. Any kind of an achievement, that brings you like a big smile,
I think I'd say this is between the blue moon moments. There are dark nights, and then suddenly you see the sun. I'll say the sun first, and then the dark nights. So, a startup, when we just began, we were working
Right,
on multiple podiums,
right.
and a startup was, wanting to get into. government fundings. We were genuinely working on it, and it had already been, I think, 3 months then. We were unaware of the structures because there are ample amount of documentations to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's unsure, unknown, confused. The team doesn't know what to do. And I think that ended up with we getting we getting 25 lakhs of loan, and a part of it also was a subsidy. That was the happiness which, that first time I felt that, okay, now this is a moving, because you need something to solidly bring. And when backed by government, it helps in also other things together.
Yeah.
So that certificate when I had in hand was the moment of that blue moon that I had with all the nights that I had spent on, and
Mm.
with the company, all the staff members together. So yeah, that I would never forget together.
Hmm. I can imagine. I can. It's like, when you are doing something, you have the back of somebody, as you rightly said, and someone saying that, yes, we believe in you. We
Yeah,
believe in your idea.
yeah,
Especially when it comes to funding. When somebody is funding, it means, they really appreciate and they understand that this business is good, it's going to take off, and then they are supporting you. Otherwise, it's not easy to get funding, I'm sure, for a startup.
true.
Amazing, amazing. So, what about, like the next step, the next goal? Where do you see, Oceanus? What are your dreams for Oceanus? Like,
See, um, I'll first speak about my dream as
yes,
Premangi Khagram, what I wish to do.
yes,
My goal in life is to empower lives, um,
right,
be it in any form. It is not limited to company. It is not limited to person. It is limited and unlimited to, bringing lives or growing lives together. Now,
right.
Oceanus is
Amazing.
one mode of it. I think in Oceanus, we want to serve convenience as as farther as possible.
Right, right.
So I think the world is an oyster, and there are a lot of things more to do together.
Hmm.
Not concisely speaking of what exact, but we see a tremendous point of opportunities into the food market. So
Right.
we would like to, get into convenience, that's for sure, and go farther as possible.
Hmm.
That's one thing that as Oceanus, we aim and we envision to do together. There's no stoppage of anything then.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand you. And any kind of challenges that you have faced during this time, Premangi, during these 5 years? That's something, an incident where, you were just stuck and you didn't know what to do, and what made you come out of such an, situation, a very challenging situation, because, most of them, what happens, youngsters especially,
Hmm.
when they're not able to face challenges in life,
Yeah,
they give up.
yeah.
So, what kind of a philosophy do you follow in life? Because I'm very sure, if you have started this entrepreneurship, I'm sure you have faced some kind of, challenges.
Hmm.
How did you come out of those challenges? Any one particular thing, that if you can help many people understand this.
So, picking up one is very tough. Picking up one happiness is very
Ev-
easy.
Because, yeah, more problems. Yeah.
See,
I
so,
wouldn't call problem, but they're
yeah.
challenges. Yeah, yeah.
I cannot tell you the amount of processes that we have passed genuinely in this 4 years. I have never known the importance of a year and 365 for this, because as an entrepreneur, I say it this way, that जहाँ आग लगी होती है ना, वहाँ हर रोज भागना होता है. I say this to myself, that कहाँ आग लगी है. So it's always starting the day with something which needs your utmost attention every single day.
Right.
Uh, I'd say that I was a very social person before, and someone who was loud on social media before the business, and
Mm,
very much vocal about things.
mm,
I understood that this business needs a lot of attention, and from then everything has changed. You
Right, right.
think you have a baby in hand and it needs your attention, it needs your care, and it has all the nights together. Picking up one would be wrong because I think everyone faces situations. But I'll talk to you about how I overcome, because
Right.
problem na everyone has their own, and the sense is how you try to overcome. I think in keeping right company, that's one most important thing that I've learned in this whole process. That you have hundreds of people in your list, but that one company, that 10 set of people, or that 5 set of good friends,
Mm, mm, mm,
trust
mm,
you
mm.
and who can let you feel that it's a day and still there's something more to come. I think I understood this process and a lot got filtered, because what I was passing by could not be experienced by, or could be told to everyone, and
Yes,
connect
yes,
that kind of people who were in this process, or could understand, or were nearer to me, or became nearer to me in this process.
yes.
So one
Mm.
thing is for sure to keep a very healthy company. Very
Right.
important thing. You should be muffat about your life. That's one thing that I learned, because you know mentally you want a connection to talk
Yeah.
and to
Yes.
operate your issue, and professional is a very different life. You meet hundreds of people for meetings. You have
Yeah.
uh, different bandwidths with people, but the ones who
Mm.
understand you and come back to
Yeah.
be professional also, but there's always a support that you get. So that is one thing. And second thing to overcome is to always know that you should follow your habits and passions in some ways. आप जो कर
Mm.
रहे हैं हर रोज वो कीजिए, और आप कुछ ऐसी चीज पिकअप कीजिए जो जिसमें आपको मजा आए.
Mm.
For me, I think I love yoga. Uh,
Mm.
and any day starting even at 5 a.m. for me is thinking that how am I going to balance my 1 hour of yoga time. So it's always a 2.5 hours plus. So if I have to start my day at 7:30, I'll wake up at 5. 1 hour of,
Right.
so that's something which is my mental, comfort, or
Mm.
my physical comfort that brings me on. And I'm in for the day with it. So that's something which I prioritize, which is health. Second is because you're working with wealth. That's of course a part of your work. Third most important is your relationships. As I
Mm.
mentioned, your friends, but also your relationships with your parents, with your family. I cannot tell you how much grounded I've become after this 4 years.
Mm.
The more you see the world, the more grounded and the more humble you become.
Right.
And I have more sympathies, and rather not sympathies, I have more empathies to understand,
Empathy.
gratitude towards all the ones who are around. So that humanly feeling I've got after having a company, feeling those pains, trying to understand what are the overcoming situations and what
Right.
can be done to heal this process. And I
Mm.
think every time it would be backing on something. If it was, it was a colleague who supported me, or it was parents who supported me, or it was yoga who, let me out of all of this, and it was clear that
Mm.
अगर ऐसा कुछ हो रहा है ना, तो back on all of these things.
Mm.
So yeah, I think the viewers always should take what's the overcoming part. Problems I think are innumerable. Everyone comes with a set of different problems. But what helped me probably would help them also, or something else around their situations.
Right, right, right. Absolutely. I really liked, when you were talking about the people, the first thing is whom you're surrounded is
Yeah,
so important because, we have limited time
yeah,
and energy, of course, is plenty.
yeah,
But that energy, you have to really use very carefully, even more carefully than money, I think, because you lose 10,000 rupees, you can earn 10,000. But you lose energy, there's no way how you can get back that energy. So some of the people are really toxic and they will really, extract all the positive energy out of you. So it's so important at one point. And in India, most of the people, I think, I don't know about abroad, but they don't know how to say no to toxic relationships, toxic people. So, and they don't know that these people are stealing their time, stealing their energy, and thereby, not allowing you to do what you want to do. So, it's a brilliant point that you shared. And viewers, I hope all of you are listening to this podcast. I hope you are taking back some good points, which Premangi has shared out of with this. Saying no to toxic people is very important. Saying no to people who are taking away who are not part of your dream. They need not understand exports, they need not understand Oceanus, but they should understand your dream, that you are, following a dream. And if they cannot contribute anything, then they better stay away then, so that, you're focusing.
That way
Yeah.
that the ones who just trust your process. I probably
Yes.
will not end up with anything. What I will end up with is that trust which they put me in. So
Yeah.
when you are a company in making, there's nothing in hand.
Yeah.
You are you are guns around. You have all
Yeah. How true. How true.
this
How
is
true.
that process is something which gives you people, gives you strength also. Like it was very tough for me to go on a train alone, or my first, let's say, first international trip to Dubai was alone. It took me 3.5 to 4 hours, almost 4
Mm,
a.m. there. That,
mm,
oh, I am in a different country. This will require different way of treatment. मतलब वो ना तुमको करने से ही आता है, बट वो करने
mm.
का वो कॉन्फिडेंस भी कुछ अपने लोग होते हैं ना, वही देते हैं, फिर तुम में
Bilkul.
आता है. बट दैट इज that support that they give you together.
Absolute. Absolute. Has Premangi thought about penning down all these experiences into a book?
In some good time, I'm genuinely not in the right time. I have certain things in mind. Once that is a tick done, I think it's all here. This is all
Yeah.
forgotten. I think whenever I do interviews, genuinely feeling that I talk my heart out, and I feel all
Yes.
processes are, they were all so wonderful, because those worries, those pains, those confusions, those excitement
Mm.
bubbles, and those butterflies, even they were all real, and they all needed space in some or the other ways, and they have come to some shape together, and they will come to better shapes tomorrow. So you all wait for some other tomorrows.
Mm. Bilkul. Absolutely. And is there anything else that you would like to, in fact, share with the audience? I wanted to ask you this question since, during this last half an hour or so interacting with you, Premangi, I feel you do have some kind of a philosophy or a spiritual mentor who's probably guiding you or something. So, is there anybody like that who is guiding you on a day-to-day basis? And where
Yes,
do you derive your energy and strength from?
that's a very good question. I think you always should look up to people, and you should be accessible to them. I have
Yeah,
met in different
yeah.
roles of life. I seek a lot of guidance from them, because I know that had it been that I'm in a situation stuck, they are the ones who will give me all the possible answers, and I have to act.
Mm,
It's
mm,
absolutely my choice, but they will let me know going where will lead me where. And I
mm.
think, provided that I have less friends is the reason, because I have good mentors in life. The
Wonderful.
mentors who are loaded with guidance, the mentors who are loaded with life, and they're best in what they are writing. So I think that one key thing is to, let's say, yoga, I have a mentor. Let's say if I'm looking for, particularly in sales, I have a mentor. Every segment which I am focused on, or a company is focused on, we actually bow to mentors, and they help us come out of, I say it's +5. You minus those +5 years. आपकी जिंदगी ना के ना 5 साल फटाफट आगे बढ़ जाते हैं, when you are guided right, because तुम घूम रहे हो, तुम ऐसे गाय और बकरियों की तरह चर रहे हो. तुम्हें अगर डायरेक्शन मिले तो तुम्हें पता चलता है तुम कहाँ जा रहे हो, तुम्हें कहाँ नहीं जाना है, और तुम्हें क्या करना है.
Right.
Things, but these are complex when startups begin, right? So
Absolutely.
our mentors are melodies, genuinely. They ring the, they keep you
It's
aligned,
like,
and they screw you. but they keep you well. Ki bhai, this is what you have to do, however hard it
Right.
is.
Mm. I really appreciate that you have shared this. So let's say in your business, do you have a mentor who's you have a mentor in business also? Very good. Excellent.
Don't
In
see
every area of your life, you have a mentor.
person. It
It's
will,
always better that instead of you making that mistake, it's
yeah.
better that you seek a mentor, seek a guide who've already done those, and then out of their experience and their wisdom, you're learning it. And this also is a very good thing. It's a very big thing, rather, that you are seeking and learning from someone who's already walked the path. We need not invent the wheel again and again. Wheel has already been invented. So we just have to follow the path.
So to get a mentor is not an easy task.
Yes. Yeah.
The
But a
shift
seeking
journey,
person is always there, receiving, seeking person will always receive.
there is,
Yeah,
it's always it's a two-way commitment, and
absolutely.
it's completely, submitting your thoughts and
Yeah,
telling them what's right and what's wrong that you feel, and
right.
seeking one. Absolutely.
So, Premangi, today, almost we are reaching the end of our podcast. And yeah, one important thing I would like you to share for all those youngsters, is there any tip that you would like to give these present day people, young children who are really in school, maybe in college, who are dreaming, who have got dream in their eyes. Maybe they don't have grandfathers like you who supported you and gave who planted a wonderful seed in your heart. So, what is that tip that you would like to give to those youngsters for starting any kind of a business?
I think when I talk about today's generation, they are genuinely very, very enthusiastic first. They
Right,
are much
right,
enthusiastic than maybe my generation or even my parents' or grandparents'. They know what they want to do.
right, right,
Just need to get directed well. So I'd rather say them that you know what you want to do and they're
right.
very clear of they want to do. Just go into the right direction. Follow that
Mm,
one path and don't get into too many things at one point of time. Because when you
mm,
follow one, that one will become million. That's that's the art that today's Gen Zs have. They just need to follow one single path and
mm,
they're there. Otherwise, I trust them and they're कहीं आगे हमसे.
mm.
Their way of taking up things, their way of accepting whatever is present, and their way of
Right.
dealing the odds is crazily good. I just would say them that follow one path
Mm,
deeper. It's called T path. So you
mm,
go so deeper, and then you bring a T. Okay, कुछ तो
mm.
बाजू का है, but you go deeper
Go
into that.
deep into it.
Yeah. So just become a T in your life, and that's what
Can you
you.
explain that other part? One is going down. The T part is one is going down.
Yeah.
So,
So the
and
T
what
path
is
is basically तुमको कोई एक इंडस्ट्री में जिनमें जैसे if you want to become a pilot, you work on becoming a pilot and just put your heads down and just focus on becoming that. Meantime, and in the time that you get, आप थोड़ा थोड़ा और चीजें जान लोगे. But this is
okay?
it. You need to go straight. उसके साथ साथ
Mm,
थोड़ा ही आ जाएगा कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. It's called the T.
mm,
So just become a tea path and do not become a railway path, knowing everything. The jack of
mm,
all cards doesn't work in this generation.
mm.
Focus on your strengths. That
Nowadays, we hear a lot about niche. Just focusing on one, what your niche is, niche se bhi niche, what is your micro niche, what is your specialization. So nowadays, yeah, lot, especially because of this online programs going on, events going on. So yeah, absolutely. So my last but one question is how how good is this entire way of doing business is totally different now post COVID. Completely it has changed. It's changed the dynamics of business. So what do you have to say about that and this digital marketing also, because SoilCup is a digital marketing company,
yeah,
and our mission is to help as many young entrepreneurs as possible to bring them out into the open and spread this word across that yes, one can be a successful woman or a man. So what is your take on that, the digitalization?
I think COVID or this generation that we talk, the present that we are into, everything is business. Like anything that we had not thought of is also business. So
Absolutely.
the branches of businesses are increasing, and so is the demand.
Yes.
Because we were not knowing, I probably didn't knew what my cousins are studying at my generation, and I didn't had it
Mm.
at school.
Ah,
So there's a huge knowledge around today,
right.
right? And so is the sectorial knowledge. A lot of sectors are, on.
Yes.
Certainly, there is less. I'd not say completely, less. It's
Mm.
lessening gender biasness also. Though we feel it,
Yes.
yet it is lessening. So today in this digital generation, you need to focus on what works,
Yeah.
not not the one which what works, because that working has got to do a lot with your market visibility, a lot with your commercial viability, a lot with your accounts. Probably I'm very good into styling. I love styling, genuinely I have a passion of it. But what works is very important. At the
Right.
doing not charity, but you're doing business. So focus on what works, and for that, give yourself time.
Mm.
As you mentioned about Soil Cup, I'm genuinely thankful for bringing me here and letting my voice go to all of you on hearing here.
Yes.
You like people are, letting us reach to common people, and
Right.
we becoming commoners to them. So work on what works, what your strengths are, and if that
Mm.
strengths can be connected to market connectivity,
Right.
there's something which you are good at and the
Yeah.
market is able to accept it.
Yeah.
And then you'll enjoy
Absolutely.
the process of
Mm.
doing that, and also being into that process of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a
This
lot of
is like a very beautifully explained, it's like the ikigai, the Japanese ikigai. Yeah, I think this is what the Japanese also follow in, like what you really love doing, what the market is demanding is very important. Not, as you rightly said, not just go and do what you like to do it, but what the market also is demanding in. And that's how one can be successful, I think. And on that note, Premangi, I really, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for sharing your journey, your wonderful journey with so many people. And I wish you all the best on behalf of Soil Cup and the team. Thank you so much for coming on this show. Thank you. And I hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much, and I wish you greater successes. For the
Yeah.
audience, if they want to find me, they can find me on LinkedIn with my name, that is Premangi Khagram, and
Yeah.
also on my company's name if they want to know me, that is Oceanus Exports Pvt Ltd. If they
Yeah.
want to have any more questions on dehydration industry, or if they have any other questions except this, they can come back to me via this
Yeah.
medium. I look
So,
forward.
the podcast, once we complete that whole thing, then we will include all these details. Everything will be there included so that the people can, reach out to you then, right? Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye
Thank you.
bye.